Well, the young coach of the Denver Nuggets, Larry Brown, blames himself for the Nuggets' predicament. I guess any good coach would assume responsibility for the situation, but he says that the Nuggets must come out tonight and just dictate the tempo of this ball game.
You know what I'm thinking, Steve? The other night in Denver, the Denver guards came out and started the game by pressing the net guards, and it was successful. Then they kind of slacked off, if you'll recall, and that's when the Nets caught up and went ahead. I just wonder if Denver will open with that press tonight and put some pressure on the net guards. Again, we'll have to look along with the people. Coaches are being a little bit secretive tonight.
Bob, on the left right now, we're looking at Brian Tedder, the backcourt man. On the right, it's 5'6", some say 5'5", Monte Tao of the Denver Nuggets, and he was quite a spark plug in that game.
Oh, this show might just be us groaning for like 30 minutes. Oh, God. Dev, welcome to your first Losers Lounge.
I don't want to be here.
This is not where I want to be. I don't want to be here
I'm
either.
just here tonight so I don't get fined.
I know. What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Losers Lounge.
Wah, 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 wah.
I can't believe this is a Losers Lounge.
Yo, it doesn't feel like a Losers Lounge.
It feels like a total Losers Lounge. Are you kidding me?
I had already cashed the winning
I
ticket in my
know.
head.
It's
Like,
so true.
I don't feel like we lost. I've not allowed it to really seep into my brain.
There's so much for us to talk about tonight, guys. I hate that there is, but there is a whole lot for us to talk about. And a lot of it's bad. Some of it's good. Some of it's, whatever. But, welcome in. I'm Adam Matez, joined by my esteemed colleague, Brendan Vogt.
Yeah, take everything I say with a grain of salt, because everything I said preseason was wrong.
Guys, we're gonna get Bubble Murray for 72 games this year, guys. It's gonna be so great.
I think they're gonna blow the teams like the Kings out.
They're just gonna blow. They're not gonna have close games where they play down. Yeah.
Were we all tricked?
We were all tricked.
Yeah,
we tricked each other.
The one thing we know is that any conclusion drawn from tonight's game is applicable to the entire season.
The whole season. And then this man over here in the flannel is D-Line Co.
That's right. I've decided that my new brand is flannel.
It's a good brand. It's a solid brand. I used to have the flannel brand. And then over here we've got Duvalier, aka Superstar Dev.
How's it going? What a way to start. I mean, it was a fun game.
Well, his mic is pointed directly upward. Look at your mic. Look at the angle of your mic. It's at his forehead.
We'll give you a couple pro tips. We know you're new to the show, so you're gonna want to move the mic down.
See, look, there
it is. He got it.
A lot of complications that was going on.
There was a lot of
complications around and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm holding mine. Man.
I was so used to being in that chair. Brendan, you look good from that angle.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate
it was the chair. It was the angle.
But you were saying something about the Nuggets.
Is that who we're talking about tonight?
We have to.
Guys, this was a rough one, man. First game of the season. We're coming off a short off season. You come off preseason. You kind of expected this game to be, not fresh, not crisp for both teams. And you really expected Denver, being the better team, that they were just going to have the graces and, their star players would step up. And for the most part, that was true. I mean, tonight, Nikola Jokic was, we have been talking about, we think an MVP season. This was like, it's funny because his stat line of 25, was it 14 and 14? I think it was 14 and 14.
15 rebounds.
15 and 14? Okay, so like the stat line is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
15 rebounds, incredible. 14 assists, incredible. 25, what was it, 20, how many points? 29 points. All three of those stats are crazy. You combine them and it's like, what?
And he had to do it over and over again. They won and lost that game 6 separate times again down the stretch. And calm as you like, Jokic stayed almost like eerily calm all game long.
Yeah. Everything about it was just calm, just smooth. It was just like,
I got to do this again.
He walked in. They were down big. He came back in the game. He's like, here we go again.
Yeah, he's unbothered. He's just like, he just goes about it in like a very workmanlike way. He just does it,
Yeah. It was frustrating for that performance to go. And the thing about it is we've talked so long about, Jokic has carried this team for 6 years or 5 years and now going on 6. And it's just like, he didn't have to be that, but he's so consistently good. I mean, the greats are good every single night. He's so consistently good. And you think, okay, this is the year where there's going to be other guys carrying it. And then for it to be so many guys having off nights and so many, what are you watching over there?
I'm watching the DNBA, DNVR Nuggets.
The Losers Lounge? Oh yeah, it's a good one.
I just pulled up the YouTube comments.
But so it was tough. But all right, we're going to start here. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of Yoke talk in tonight because, I mean, we want to focus on some of the good tonight. Otherwise, we're going to just like rip our eyeballs out. But Dev, biggest takeaway from what happened tonight?
honestly just how good Jokic
That's
looks.
your first takeaway.
That's my first takeaway from tonight.
I wish that
Everything
was
about
mine.
it came so calm, so smooth. Nothing was forced, and really the Nuggets could have went to him down the stretch every single play. They elected not to, but that was just like we're used to these Jokic games. That was not a Jokic game to me. I think that he was just like that was pretty easy. It wasn't like he was doing anything incredible. It wasn't anything extra that we haven't seen. He did what he's always done. And if that's what we're going to see for the entire year, especially with how others look tonight, then we're in for a pretty good year, even though it was a loss.
I mean, I want the optimism that you have today, Dev, but like it's tough for me. Look, losing to the Kings to me are probably a bottom 10 team in the NBA. So, losing on your own home court with all that. So that's not my main takeaway. What about you, Eric?
I think unfortunately it was just how inept the defense was. Like we just were unable to stop. Like particularly at the point of attack. Like De'Aaron Fox did whatever he wanted.
Those quick little guards doing it again.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think a lot of that has to do with the personnel we had guarding De'Aaron Fox off. Which Jamal Murray fouled out. Not a good game for Jamal in any stretch of the imagination, but like just in general, I mean, it's funny, we're one game removed from the preseason where the pace was incredible, the defense was incredible, and it just turns out Portland was just not interested in playing basketball.
And it was the preseason, and we really hoped that it was a little bit more. Vote for you?
Yeah, Jamal Murray, hard to look away from Jamal. Just where do you start? It was all bad. The game didn't look that slow for him. The decision-making didn't look great. He looked a little slower physically than we last saw him in the bubble. The three-pointers looked like he decided to take them like 2 seconds too late and then bricked them off the back iron. Like, it was really, really rough. And he fouls out. A lot of talk about him stepping up, being ready to guard his assignment in the preseason. Malone talked about it. He talked about it. First test right out of the gate. Gets
Fouls
smoked
out, dude.
by De'Aaron Fox. So it's hard to look away from that right now, even with what Jokic did.
To me, I think all of these are great points. For me, it is Jamal because it goes alongside with what you're talking about, which is the Nuggets. They're small now. The Nuggets are small, and they played small tonight. And you think like one of the advantages for that is you're going to have perimeter defense. You're going to have guys that you lose rim protection, but you get some on the perimeter, and they didn't have that. And in particular, we talk about Jamal Murray coming out of the bubble, and okay, this is a springboard for him. And look, it still might be. This is one game. None of this is definitive or defining of him and the season he is going to have. But to come out on night one, match up with a non-all-star in De'Aaron Fox, a guy that you are ahead of both in terms of experience and in just like the ranking, and get absolutely smoked in that matchup to the extent that Jokic can have like an A+ game even by his standards, and you still lose to a bad team. That's how bad Jamal was tonight.
So
and
bad,
Eric, you were on this all night. He just didn't look healthy, and I'm not trying to make an excuse for Jamal, like or say this or that, but it's more just about how Jokic doesn't have games that are that bad. That's the difference between him and Jamal. Jamal has great games, but Jokic's bad games are like he wasn't fully into it.
He just like he chose not to shoot.
Exactly.
A Jokic bad game.
I guess you're right. He does pout from time to time.
Yeah.
Murray tonight just looked like he couldn't do anything
Yeah,
against anybody. Even some of his like dribble drives, you're like, man. And that's to your point about him looking hurt. So
his leg, dude. It's always about Murray's legs. I'm so tired about talking about Jamal Murray's legs, and we'll never be free.
It is crazy that he's banged up already.
To me, it looked like he may have been sore.
I don't know.
I shouldn't say that.
To me, it looked like he was maybe sore from lifting too much, or maybe he was like out late last night. He just was like sloppy, dribbling the ball off his knee. He just like was unengaged in every facet. It was brutal.
9 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 0 blocks, 2 turnovers. So he goes 0 of 5 from 3. And by the way, so he does foul out tonight, but he still played 34 minutes, which I think is going to be more than his average. He's going to average 33 minutes per game this year. So he plays more than his average, only gets up 5 threes. That was one of our questions. Is he going to find them? Doesn't hit any of them. And then actually the only bucket he makes was a dunk, off of a curl. So he didn't actually hit any perimeter shots. And it's just tough, man. Like we talked about, do you expect Jamal Murray to play great every night? No. Do you expect him to have bad games? Of course. Him, like Jokic, no, but him, yeah, I do. But for him to have a game that even last year would have counted in his bottom like 5 games, but right off the bat, it's
right off the bat.
If they go out and they win their next 5, we can circle back and laugh at it. It's like you couldn't After everything he did in the bubble and everything, as Nuggets media, you have to say about him at that point because he's shown you. You could not handwrite a funnier start to his season.
But I think that's the thing. I think that how good he was in the bubble is the reason that we're so down on him right now.
Because our expectations, right?
But that was a bad game by
this was a bad game for sure. It was a bad game.
any
but
standard.
He starts every year out kind of
I
like
know.
this.
But
Every year, this is Jamal. He starts out the first few games that he's just trying to find his rhythm and trying to get back to himself. And then he's back to himself, and we're back on the wagon.
But that's the thing. Like the disappointment only comes when your reality does not match your expectations.
Yeah,
Our
totally.
expectations have risen to the point where we're like, oh, okay, the bubble happens. We see our wildest dreams of Jamal Murray unfold before our very eyes, and we're like, yep, all right, he's that dude. Like we talked about the ascension. Like I didn't realize it was like an elevator. He's just going to go up and down and up and down. So whatever. Like, I mean, like exactly. This is one game, but it is just like
it's just
come on,
disappointing.
man.
Yeah,
Like,
it was just disappointing.
Come on, man.
That's all it is. You don't want to circle back and wash away all your preseason takes just yet.
And the defense
We just go back and delete all of the player
So
profiles.
number 1 for me would be Jamal Murray. Number 2 would probably be Jokic. Number 3 for me, actually, number 4 is going to be Michael Porter, who we'll talk about next. But number 3 for me is, the bench unit against the Golden State Warriors looked like a disaster, right?
Yep.
Denver falls behind by 20. In the next 2 games against Portland, they looked incredible. But they also looked incredible with a different rotation than what we saw tonight. Tonight we saw the mini lads. I'm kind of out on the mini lads, guys. Like it's not...
Ryan Blackburn had a great back-to-back tweet. So we finally saw the mini lads. I hate this lineup. 5 minutes apart.
Yeah, like they're just. It turns out they're actually really small.
You need a power forward.
And you've got guys like Campasso who didn't have a noteworthy game tonight, but you put him off ball. You put a bunch of other guys out there. Like it just didn't. It didn't seem to pop at all. So
the mini badge.
And then Hartenstein, who we all are very high on and have and enjoyed what we saw. The thing about Hartenstein was that he fouls a lot, and we saw a little bit of this in the preseason. Well, tonight he couldn't stay on the court. Like he gets 9 minutes tonight, 4 fouls, and the reason he only got 9 minutes because he kept fouling. They're like, all right, well, we just got to pull him out.
He was just running into.
So that second unit to me becomes storyline number 3 behind Murray, behind Jokic, and
I think there's actually another storyline in there that might sneak up ahead of it.
What's that?
Michael.
Well, I said that was 4.
Oh.
Well, yeah, Michael Porter.
I think it's higher. I think that's number 3.
Well, let's go like this. Let's kind of have some ups
Jamal
and downs.
Murray,
Murray. We did Jokic, we did Murray.
So it's not an objective list. Just understand this is an emotionally catered list.
Emotionally catered list. No, but that second unit, Denver has a lot of great players, but and this was one of the things I tweeted out, is that second unit still feels like, for all the great players there's only certain combinations of those players that are going to work, and you're going to have to decide between some of those guards. You can't play them all at the same time.
That's also going to make it really tough to basically gauge the second unit and how good they're actually doing, because they're going with small lineups. Like you have guys playing spots they're not supposed to. You have PJ Dozier at the power forward spot. That's not his regular spot. That's not who he typically defends and things like that. So it's going to make it hard for you to say the second unit looks really bad or really good. Right now, it looked bad because the Kings were really running it to them. They're scoring at will and things like that. But it really makes it hard for me to say the second unit looks bad or the mini lads look bad, because
it was some reason when he said mini lads, it's like way funnier.
We've done it.
It's way fun. When he slides it into just like real analysis, just so
it's an inside joke. Every time I see like fingers wiggle, like they touch each other, like yes, he said it. But really, it's going to be very difficult for you to say how bad they look, because that's not really what a second unit looks like.
I don't even feel like I got a sense of what the second unit is,
no clue.
or what that rotation is.
No clue.
And obviously, of course, we should mention JaMychal Green, the backup power forward, did not play tonight. He was out.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that would have changed.
No, but it might have changed the rotation.
That's
we're
what
talking
I'm saying,
about game they lost by 1 basket, where they literally should have won that game.
Oh my god,
that could have changed everything. JaMychal, let us down.
Having the size changes it though completely. Like even if they were to throw in like Bobo or somebody that just is a bigger body, that wasn't Hartenstein, who's just fouling every play.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a thing that I think going forward is going to continue to be a thing for Denver. Like we talked about this. The first 10 games, maybe 15 games of the season are going to feel a little bit like preseason, and that teams are going to be experimenting and figuring out their identity and and there's going to be a lot of fluidity for not just the Nuggets, but for all teams. But I think especially true for the Nuggets in that second unit. All right, the fourth storyline for me is Michael Porter Jr. He starts. Guys,
You got.
I got for sure. I thought it sure felt like Malone was laying all of the groundwork for Michael Porter to come off of the bench. He starts tonight, and I thought, he had an up and down night.
Yeah.
He still is very much a guy that just doesn't know the game, but my God, the guy's so talented. And the stuff he does, like just conjuring buckets out of thin air and knocking down shots that are like no, yes shots. And tonight he finishes with 24 points on 15 shots, which is incredible efficiency. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks. That's a full stat line for him. Now he still does make a lot of like infuriating decisions / mistakes, but for me, it's encouraging because I didn't think Michael Porter had a good preseason. He had that last game, and I thought all of his points came in the third quarter of that last preseason game, and it was kind of like, okay, well, he had one good quarter, not even one whole good game. Tonight was a very good game from him, and maybe part of that was Murray being out and sort of him being forced into that second option with Jokic, but I don't know. If there's silver linings to it, Jokic looks incredible, Michael Porter looks incredible.
I mean, we're a really weird ending and a couple bounces away from a game-winning block. From a game-winning block from Michael Porter Jr. I mean, who was in the right place. It was an incredible effort on that contest. Yeah. So I thought he played really well. And, up and down game, he hits this monster three, come down immediately gives up a 3 on the other end of the floor.
You know what's so funny is like we spent all this time talking about like who's going to be in the starting rotation, what's the starting rotation going to be, and then to close out the game, both MPJ and Barton are on the floor.
Yeah. Well, in large part because Jamal Murray fouled out.
But I was just going to say, though,
basket.
With MPJ, you get that, makes a 3, gives up a 3. But for all of it, it was a good game, and he was in a position to make the game-winning play. Yep. And he made it. And it just didn't work out that way. But I thought he played great too.
And you got to see like the strides that Michael Porter Jr. made throughout the game. Because early on, they attacked him. They went after him every single time down the court. And he kind of adjusted. He started to step over and help side. He's deflecting lots of passes. He's grabbing all of these rebounds. So with a player like that who's so talented, you have to take the good with the bad. There's a lot of bad plays with Michael Porter Jr., but there was a lot of positives that we've seen tonight too. And he's a bucket. Everything about him is a basket. He can score in every single way. He makes it a lot easier for Jokic out there when Jamal's having a bad game. We saw that tonight. A player that could just score at will.
Just to say, to really point out the value of Michael Porter Jr. When we were down by like 4 points, 6 points, we couldn't quite close that gap. Jokic misses a free throw and MPJ knifes in.
Oh,
gets
man,
the
huge
offensive
play.
bucket. Like that's
just the stuff he does. That's enormous. Not like there's no thinking to that. He's just like, go get it, and he gets it.
Totally.
And he makes plays like that.
And I gotta say, like
I hope he learns the game so quick. He's so talented. He just doesn't know what he's doing.
The boneheaded plays are going down, but granted, they started off like because there were so many.
Yeah, he was
like now we have.
He was like Hassan Whiteside level boneheaded plays, and now he's down to I don't even.
He was good though, man. MPJ was good.
Yeah, he's like J.R. Smith. He's graduated up to J.R. Smith.
Probably putting popcorn in somebody's car right now.
That is rough. All right, why don't we take a break? We're going to talk about Will Barton. I see some people in here like so.
Yeah, Barton.
So he's really catching a lot of bullets here for him, which I think
took.
It's ridiculous.
Right away.
He had some mistakes though. He did have some mistakes, but let's take a break and then we'll get to some of that stuff on the other side.
Breckenridge Brewery is the official beer of DNVR. I'm sure families are looking for some fun outdoor activities.
Can I get, what do we have? What is it called? The hazy?
Oh, no, we don't. The juice drop's not in there.
The juice drop. The juice drop. Where's it at?
It's not in there.
All right, relax. Perfect. I'm going to do the read. I'm sure
this is like a read.
This is real life.
Looking for some fun outdoor activities during the shutdown here in Denver. Breck set up an awesome skating rink outside the farmhouse. $3 to skate with your own skates, $6 for a rental. They also have an awesome tubing hill that's currently free. Parents, enjoy those beers, delicious food, cozy outdoor setup. Let your kids run wild. Remember, supporting our partners is supporting us during this crazy time. Check out that hazy IPA juice drop. It's one of the favorites in DNVR right now. Adam's feeding for one right now. A lot of good flavors at Breckenridge Brewery.
Kale running it with
if you're not sure where to find it, Google Breck Beer Locator, punch in your address. It'll give you where the nearest stuff is, down to the 10th of a mile.
That was amazing. Adam just essentially clapped his hands and made Kale start running.
Dude, you're trying to sow this division between DNVR, and I don't appreciate it. Super producer Kale is 10 out of 10 producer.
Someone in the
That's
comments.
Because
What
of,
is probably
because of
what is
things
what
like
I
this.
said?
He saves the show.
Yeah, but what did I say? What did I say
me a
that was
beer.
untrue? I mean,
Let
you were
people do their roles, man. Let
his
people-
role is for you to clap your.
Oh my God! Come on.
Okay, anyway, now is the time to apply and register for classes at MSU Denver Online. The spring semester. I know, dude. I think Harrison hates being Harrison too. If you watch these back. The spring semester starts January 19th. Time and time again, the one thing that will protect you against economic downturns is an education allowing you to adapt into varying careers. Go ahead and build your toolbox now at MSU. Look, right now, everything in life is about safety and convenience. The world is still turning, even though it seems like parts of your life have stopped. You don't have to choose right now. Keep the education gears turning. Check out MSU Denver Online. Don't sacrifice. It's not a lazy experience. Get that education from the comfort and safety of your home.
So back here on
Ooh, I
the
felt that
DNVR, the Losers Lounge, the DNVR Nuggets
I gotta
podcast.
hit that so hard, bro.
I know. So if you guys don't know, if you're new to this show, obviously we do post-game shows after every game, preferably winners lounges, but occasionally we have to do the Losers Lounge
Those are
like
the
tonight.
preferable version. Of
They
the
are the
lounge.
preferable. We will be back for Christmas. Can't wait for that. But this is also a podcast, so should you have to get to bed or just not feeling it that night or whatever, check it out the next day. The DNVR Nuggets podcast. So let's talk about Will Barton tonight because he comes off of the bench.
Yep.
Immediately makes an impact. 10
He's
points.
great.
10 points in like 4 minutes. Had a
He's
great
great.
stretch.
Killer
Incredible
first
stretch.
half. Killer first half.
Down the stretch of this game, correct me if I'm wrong, what I'm missing here. The thing that people are upset about was that he completely botched the game-winning dunk. Like he slowed down. He curls around. It looks like it's a wide open layup to put him up 4, which there was, I don't know how many seconds, 8 seconds or something like that left.
Very few seconds. It was as though Moses himself parted the Red Sea and then slowly.
There's an
walked
argument
down
for
and
just dribbling
smashed
it out.
I don't
that.
think there is though. This is my point. Is if there's like 3 seconds, then I agree with you because you can dribble it out. It takes them a second to catch you, and now there's only 2 or 1 or whatever. If there's 8 seconds, you're only going to waste an extra second or 2, and now you got to shoot free throws. If you have a guaranteed shot,
he should have
you
done
got to take it. What he did wrong, in my opinion, wasn't going for the shot. It's that he slowed the way the F
That's what I'm
down,
saying.
laid it up softly, and just got completely. So to me, it was a bad basketball play, not a selfish play. Like I didn't think there was anything Barton did there that was like, you're being selfish with it.
He just didn't finish the play.
Yeah, he just didn't
He
finish.
just
Bad take.
he approached it as though it was the first game of the year against the Kings.
Yeah, he
was
did approach it
He
that way.
assumed that the Kings were just going to back down and allow that dunk to happen. It just did not happen.
So we've been wondering about Barton and his athleticism because of this injury or this or that, and I did never once thought anything about his body until that shot. And I looked at it and I'm like, how do you not dunk that? How do you not sprint to the basket, get it up quick, and finish it? And he just slows down, and so that to me was what was so frustrating about it. And then, I don't know if there was another play that people are referencing. Have I forgotten?
Maybe there's the
another one?
pick and roll. People are interpreting that differently with Yoke, the offensive foul call.
So on that one, what happened? In my opinion, what happened on that one? Yoke waited really, really, really late, and it's because it was the last shot. I thought Yoke, and we were saying it in real time. I'm like, Yoke's waiting too long on this, and then Barton got a little itchy to go as well, and he went early, and Jokic ends up getting the lamest freaking foul you can possibly call in that moment.
That
But
all sucked.
They're so much of that 1 minute span just encapsulates
Yeah, I know,
what
I
it is
know.
to watch an NBA basketball game where somebody literally touching the shoulder of a defender passing by is a foul. And then as it got into overtime, there were no fouls of any kind. Jokic just got punched in the face. And everyone's like, oh, it's fine. It's whatever.
And the Nuggets lost this game through execution. But what is the point of playing a professional basketball game if it comes down to that and we're calling that foul?
I know,
Just
sucks.
let them play it out, man.
It sucks. But I thought Barton had a great first quarter, and into the second quarter was great, and then he was quiet after that. And then there was that play, which again I think was a bad finish, but not a selfish play by any means. I don't think, and I don't even think it was a dumb play. It was just he didn't execute it right. You need to go up and dunk.
He was the one D'ing up Harrison Barnes, and Harrison Barnes
torched
You're talking about Barton. I thought that was the biggest knock. I thought he had a really rough game.
But at the same time, Darren Fox was torching him.
Yeah. And 16 shots, second most on the team tonight. Not great. 7 for 16, not terrible. Look, 4 assists, second highest mark on the team. Ball wasn't popping enough, but I just wish we could differentiate between Barton didn't play well and he's selfish. I just don't understand. Whatever. We don't have to have that argument.
Yeah, we don't have to have it. But
he 4 assists. I thought he was moving the ball. At least in the first half, he looked really crisp in that way.
I think if you just really break it down from just like a fan watching, they broke down the first play. to try to win in overtime. Where actually, if you like take a look at the play, Jokic actually like went to him on the sideline and like went and talked to him. Maybe he says, "Hey, I should have went on that faster. Or I should have, went into it." So maybe that actually changed how Barton went about it in the second overtime, because he did kind of try to delay, even though it did too much time. But also, we already know that Barton is the scapegoat. That's the person.
It doesn't matter.
I feel like that's what it was. I mean, look, there was a lot of guys that played bad. I thought he had a good first stint, disappeared. Yeah. And then defensively, every single guard in this roster got torched tonight. Corey Joseph went out tonight. I mean, Corey Joseph was like murdering people. So that part's unfortunate. Gary Harris next on my list here, 0 of 4 from 3, and they were good looks. And again, these are small sample size, but with Gary, we're just every miss or every game where he goes and does not make a wide open 3, we're all going to be like, and that was, so if we talk about another bad vibe, it was Gary tonight.
And I'm usually the person that's like on Gary Harris' side, even though I sold my stock. And the reason for that is because he usually plays
good. He did sell it all, didn't he?
He usually
sold all of the stock.
All his stock,
he had none left.
Stock for portfolio.
But the thing is, he plays good defense, and I think that you like should hold him to a different bar. But tonight there was not as much defense. You didn't see all those defensive plays or stops, because De'Aaron Fox is a guard, and that's who like his matchup was for most of the night when Murray could not do it. So I think that Gary didn't make as many big plays defensively. And on top of that, he's missing all of his shots. So now it makes it hard. Like, what is he out there for? What are we doing here if he's not making stops or making any shots? So I think that Gary Harris had to have a bad night for me.
Yeah.
Man, every time it's one thing if he's finishing the play, but every time it's up to him to create something or even just like reset, it's an adventure. When he starts dribbling, when he lifts his head up and starts backing it out and starts dribbling, I'm like, what's happening here? Because I don't even think Gary knows. And that's the part to me. It's just the feel is just not there.
Little later in the show, Harrison Wind, who's at at Ball Arena as we speak. Oh man, the Nuggets are 0-1 at Ball Arena.
You know what though? It's like
all
not,
time.
dude. Ball Arena is not Ball Arena until fans are able to walk into that building. Right now, this is just a nameless arena that is in Denver, Colorado. We can't like
they paid a lot of money for us to call it.
I know,
Ball
but
Arena.
it is Ball Arena. But I'm saying like it's not. This is not the official kickoff of Ball Arena. Ball Arena's fate has not been sealed by this initial. Yeah, I'm gonna be like.
They'll still have a grand opening.
This is like it's like the DNVR bar, which we're in right now.
The DNVR bar has never.
It's never really opened. Yeah,
and it's actually not actually open.
Some people have toured it a little bit here or there. Yeah, so Harrison Wind will be kind of sharing what people had to say. I know Jokic talked. I know Michael Porter talked. I know Michael Malone talked, and he looked like he was not happy, as you could guess. So curious about that. He's probably gonna have a double practice tomorrow. Defensive slide drills. Shell.
I mean, how different would this be? It's so funny the razor's edge that you live on as a fan of professional sports. Like,
I was so ready for this game.
It was
to be
good.
like,
We had the happy music queued up. Like, I mean, it was just like that one. Jokic gets mugged on the inbounds pass.
Yeah,
and then they steal it. They block the shot.
I saw some people say they thought that was a bad pass by Michael Porter. I mean, the replays that I saw, I thought were fine.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah,
it's bad if you like have your hand grabbed so you can't get the ball. Like,
I mean, but it was an aggressive winning play on defense.
Oh,
I thought he fouled.
The other frustrating play was the Jokic slap goes out of bounds on Jokic when you review it, and it's like, well, actually, technically,
you're like,
I wonder how that happened. Like, damn it,
they gotta be able
touch the ball
to call those fouls. Like when you're going back and rewatching, if we're rewatching to really find out what the right call was, can it be? Oh wow, he hacked him.
And then when you're going through the review, like, what is the refs thinking? Like, yeah, I missed that foul, but it's really out on Jokic.
What an awkward
he got
position.
fouled for sure. We're not looking at that.
Like,
do you convince yourself as a referee, like, I made a mistake, but let's still make the call?
Owed us a makeup.
I was about to say, as a ref, I would be like, I told you guys.
That's what I told you guys. I'm like, Jokic's going to get to the line on this next one no matter what happens. And he actually made it, but it was that weird floater, and I was like, I thought he would get a call on that.
Ice under Adam's fridge is so right. We could taste the winner's lounge.
Oh, we could taste it.
It was like hazy juice drop.
This is like with my dog. Sometimes I'll get the treat, and right as he goes for it, I'll pull it back.
Too
slow. And then I just laugh at him. Paul Millsap tonight, Dad, 16 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 7 of 13. 2 of 5 from the 3-point line, which netted us a little bit of money on DraftKings. Am I right?
I cashed in.
I know we went 3 for 3.
Yo, I
The
went
only
like
thing
9
we
for
lost was
9.
the game.
Yeah, I went like 9 for 9 on my DraftKings.
But Paul Millsap tonight. I mean, it is funny that the line on him was 0.53s. I feel like I'm going to take it every time he has 0.5. If they bump that up to 1.5, I'm out, staying away. But 0.5, I just feel like Paul makes a 3 a game.
For the next few games, they're going to have it at the 0.5. They're just going to keep on please keep on trying it because they think they're going to get you, and they're going to get a lot of people later on down the road. But while he's getting minutes, just hammer it. Just keep on going with it because
he's our best 3-point shooter.
Really, our best 3-point
it doesn't
shooter.
make any sense. Don't try and analyze it. Just make money off of it.
I thought it was going to be Jamal. I thought maybe it'd be Monte, Michael Porter. It's Paul Millsap.
You guys laughed at me when I said, but if you think about outcomes of any given Nuggets possession, where does a Paul Millsap open 3 from the wing rank on your confidence?
It should be number 1,
it's
but
way up there for me. I'm like, this thing's going in.
It's still like really low for me, but it should be the number 1. It's like the number 1 play the Nuggets have. It makes no sense.
You're totally right.
I'm with D-Line. Like I really I'm like, please don't get to that. But if it gets to that point, shoot it. Just shoot it.
He's made like 500 threes as a Nugget, and I've thought all of them were out.
every single one. Yo, when he hit that first 3-pointer though, it was happy times.
The flip side is Jokic, who like when he airballed the 3 today, I was like certain that was in. Like we stood up, we all like had the hands up, and then it was like an airball. And you're like, what?
Yeah, that was deflating.
And then he hit a Sombor shuffle just for. How did they lose this game,
dude?
Jokic goes for that. Jokic should like look. He's got to be in the locker room looking at every single one of them, just giving them those.
Yo,
I'm
saying like people are kind of upset in these comments. Like, come on, bros. I mean, like we won that game. I know we didn't win that game.
No,
but we won that game.
They did not, Eric.
They did not win that game.
Which is
we
why
won that game.
That's actually why.
That's exactly.
This is a great time to mention who the DraftKings Kings of the game is, and it is Will Barton. No, I'm just kidding. It is people would riot and just throw their TV. So it's Nikola Jokic, of course, 29 points, 15 rebounds, 4 assists. His crown is too small, Kale. If I'm being honest, that crown should have been way bigger.
Crown.
Yeah, a larger crown.
Yeah,
it should be covering the whole screen. That's how big of a crown.
That's how crowns work.
I do like the idea of like how good of a king of the game it was. The crown gets bigger or smaller.
In the world of crowns, that's actually quite large.
But you know what? 29, 15, 14, even more large. So
it's bigger.
It's bigger for sure.
It's definitely bigger.
Should like hurt his neck to wear. God, Jokic. He's so good. He's just so good. And
he is so good, dude.
I feel like
let's just focus on Jokic. Like
I wasn't even part of this game, and I feel like I let him down. You know,
you were part of this game. Number 1, we're all part of this game. Everyone needs to do their part. This is like at the end of Elf when the Christmas magic, the Christmas spirit wasn't strong enough. Dude, everyone turned on the Nuggets. Look what happens.
Honestly,
this is on you people.
Anybody that's watching this is part of the game because they either have to come to the winners' lounge or the losers' lounge.
That's true.
So you're part of the game. Now I'm part of the game now.
That's right.
You are
losing
I have to come to the winners' lounge or the losers' lounge. I don't just get to drive home anymore. So I'm part of it.
Do you hear the way he said "has to"? Like these. Like,
who had money on Yoke being the only one ready to go on opening?
I know how funny is that. Yeah. The other 2 guys that we haven't really talked about too much, Monte Morris, PJ Dozier. Dozier had some minutes, kind of like Barton. He had a stretch that I thought was good, and then he had large stretches where I just didn't even notice him. Talk about a guy I didn't notice tonight, Monte Morris. And, he's one of the most steady guys that the Nuggets have. And so for him to go tonight 1 of 6 from the floor, he gets 2 points, 2 rebounds, 0 assists.
Ooh.
When Monte Morris goes for 0 assists and 1 turnover. Well, the turnover was offensive foul, I think. What was it?
I don't know.
There was a weird one that I can't remember what it was. Oh, no, it was a travel. Remember when he got led to the corner on that horrible pass and they called travel?
Right. Yeah.
So kind of not really his fault.
No, this is a bad night for Mister's Nuggets.
Mister's Nuggets. Mister's Nugget was not great tonight. Yeah.
That's Sir Nugget didn't have a great night. The combination of both Gary and Monte. Mister's Nuggets.
Mister's Nugget wasn't good tonight. But when Monte is that out of – because Monte's a consistent dude. Like sometimes he misses shots. But he never goes this over. I mean, he almost had no stats tonight in his 16 minutes.
You were just about to call him out of sorts, and that's the thing you would never say about Monte.
But I think it hints a little bit at the lineup that Malone was trying tonight. And again, look, experiment, let's try this stuff out. Yeah. No Jermichael Green or whatever. But putting 4 point guards out there, and it seems that the ones that took a step back tonight, the ones that took a step forward into the limelight, Will Barton played well in that stretch with the mini lads. Composure played well. Campazzo and Monte just didn't do anything.
I know I'm supposed to be depressed, but it makes me hearing mini lads makes me laugh 100% of the time.
It's hilarious. But also to go back to Monte is a player that he controls everything. He's a person that controls. So when everyone else is playing bad, how is he going to control anything when things aren't going good? In that second unit, there was no good. There was no positives from the second unit. So he couldn't get his Hartenstein connection that he usually has. Him and Facu didn't get to work alongside each other like they usually do. Composure was playing power forward, so of course that's going to be tough. He was not put in a situation to win, so it was really tough for Monte tonight. So of course he didn't stand out in that situation. So hopefully they try to mess with the lineup or mess with the matchup just a bit more to put him in better situations. And I think that the Nuggets will go further with that or have better games.
Yeah. It's a real bummer that the Nuggets have, the Clippers coming up, because the Clippers looked really good in their opener against the Lakers, and
they're NBA, baby. Like, it goes up, it goes down.
They look sharp though.
But they look sharp. Well, all I'm saying is that we've been waiting not that long, but we've been waiting for this. We get all excited. Now it's like, okay, 0-1, 0-2. Should they fall to 0-2? That's even, it's a bummer. You've started off in a hole. So now you're in position where that game becomes a little bit more urgent. So there's that. But let's just talk about then some of our more, not silver linings, but just kind of like what are some of our takeaways about the Nuggets? Not observations from this game, but like, okay, what do we need to maybe reassess about this team or
I'll go first. They're not usually this bad. This is not the Nuggets that we're used to seeing, and we know that they have bounce back games. They're a team like the Clippers. Clippers looked really good in the first game because it was narrative. There was a lot of narrative about it. Malone has a way of getting to his guys. They did not play good tonight. I'm sure that Murray's going to bounce back. He's going to be himself. So
you're sure of it?
I'm pretty sure of it. Based off of seeing how Murray has been over the years, that is a player that he knows. He understands he did not have a good game tonight. He also fouled out for the third time in his career tonight. He's going to bounce back.
You imagine he's like, I think I played all right. Dude. So my takeaway for the Nuggets just in general is that this was the first game. I mean, what are we talking? I see in the comments, I see somebody says that goodbye playoffs and that Nikola Jokic should leave Denver. The same person. I find that to be a little bit of an overreaction, if I'm being honest.
I do too.
I think that
I find that a little bit of an overreaction.
I think that Jamal Murray played one of the worst games I could ever remember him playing, and that's because all of his other games are better than this game. If Jamal Murray makes one more basket, we just win this game.
Yeah.
So, what are we talking about here, people? Come on.
This Nuggets team is still a team, in my eyes, that just doesn't execute very well. And I thought that in the playoffs last year, they were talented enough to be one of the 4 final teams. In that standpoint, they looked like one of the final 4 teams. But in these close moments of execution of, do you dribble it out? Do you score here? Can we get this inbounds pass off? The Nuggets seem a little loose. They always have. So it's game 1, but it's just a team that doesn't really, those screws need to tighten up, man. I mean, they play well in fourth quarters, end of game, because Jamal and Jokic are typically awesome, but I don't think they execute well.
I think it was that second unit, to be honest with you. I mean, there's a lot of other things that happen, but if momentum in the NBA, it's a lot about just rhythm and how things are going. And I thought that first unit, we laughed because at the end of the first quarter, they're up 6, and we're like, it doesn't feel like they're dominating, but if they do this 3 more times, they win by 20.
Yeah,
24. So I think that they had some momentum. That second unit was so clunky and so awkward that it was like they had momentum, ran into a wall, and then it was just like a dogfight the rest of the way.
Vogt is right though. Like, who's the second unit? Like, who are we talking about? Like, that's like 7 different players. Like,
it is, yeah. I mean, that's part of the thing is them finding out the right balance. So tonight, when JaMychal Green wasn't playing, I thought, okay, there's a great chance Bol Bol's going to get into the game tonight, and that would be fun. See what that looks like. Now it's tough because if you go up against Sacramento tonight in their second unit, you got Bielitsa. I guess he's a stretch guy. Like, he's a good player. Maybe that would have been a tough assignment for Bol because he'd have to really think and make reads. But, now you go up into a Christmas Day game. Like, is Bol going to make his official debut? Not his bubble debut, but his official debut on Christmas against a very good Clippers team. Like, that's a tough spot to kind of be in. So
sounds like a Christmas gift I would ask for.
That would be a great Christmas gift, actually. That'd be a really good Christmas gift.
Yeah, if I can't spend time with my family making them watch the Nuggets, why not a gift for me?
Would you rather have Apple AirPods, a brand new set, or would you rather have Bol get into the game against the Clippers?
Dude, AirPods.
Same, because my dog just chewed mine up.
Adam, would you go with Bol?
Well, I already have AirPods, so
I do too. But I mean,
you'll take more.
Yeah,
I'll go with
whatever.
second AirPods.
I'll go Pod.
I always say I'm going to flip things, then I never do. That's the thing.
Yeah, but when we talk about Bobo and even Zeke Najee not getting into the game, I think that it was really ironic because the Kings are not a small team. That's not a small lineup that they were going up against today. They have Bielitsa, they have Halliburton, Bagley, Barnes, Rashawn Holmes. That's not a small unit for the Nuggets to go with the small unit. I could see if they were just trying to run and push the pace and things of that nature, but it was a small unit versus a very big unit, and we've seen that the size actually mattered. Right. So I would have liked to seen Bobo or Zeke get into the game.
Yeah. Let's take our last break. Hopefully Harrison Wind is ready to join us on the other side. I'm very hopeful for that.
I know. The air here is very still.
It is very still. We could use some wind. But we'll hit that last break, and then we'll reconvene. Read these very slowly.
Yeah, like it's
NPR. Give us a really read these like you think Malone gave his speech to the team tonight in the post game.
But I would go actually slow and sultry if you could.
Slow and sultry.
You understand that.
If you
understand that sex sells, right?
If you are in the area,
oh my God.
Stop by the DNVR Bar and try Strava's incredible cold brew.
All over the area.
We've got the very finest of cold brew on tap at the DNVR Bar.
Honking like a goose.
Swing on in and try it sometime. You won't be disappointed. Hey, you can also subscribe now and save 20% with a Strava Craft Coffee subscription.
Slow it down.
We know a bunch of you are taking advantage of the one-time code, and now you can save 20% off your favorite coffee forever. You do not have to put that credit card info in ever again. If you've never tried the rich CBD-infused Strava Craft Coffee, you can use DNVR 20 to save 20% off the first time, or use that code to get it off every single order using the subscription service. It's CBD-infused, so what does that mean? It's non-euphoric, but you might still notice maybe like an absence of symptoms, Eric. A little less anxiety, a little less IBS in the morning.
I'm going to say, like, the one thing that keeps me from perpetually not honking like a goose is a feeling that I feel anxiety, and again my IBS that I'm making up for this ad that flares up. I don't feel like honking at all. Drinking Strava Craft coffee, what happens? The honks start flowing.
That's right.
My IBS, very real, and it helps a lot. Thank you, Strava.
Every time we read Strava Craft coffee ads, notice how many times Brendan will hit IBS with vigor.
I really want you guys to get that part. Okay, the 2021 basketball season is here, as you guys know.
It is.
I don't think it is.
Wonderful talk about that.
I actually don't think it is.
The teams around the league took the offseason retool and revamp, and DraftKings Sportsbook is ready to roll out another one of their can't-miss offers. To celebrate the return of basketball, DraftKings Sportsbook is giving new players 100-to-1 odds on any featured matchup this week. That's right. All you have to do is bet $1 on any featured matchup this week, and if your team wins if your team wins, you cash a crisp $100. Well, we're all excited for the return of basketball. Let's not forget football's playoffs are right around the corner. So head to the app now. Check out all of DraftKings Daily's odds boosts. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code DNVR when you sign up to get 100-to-1 odds on any featured matchup this week. That's code DNVR for new players to get a shot at $100 on any featured matchup. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
It is weird that we got all of our bets right tonight and lost the game because that's like all these bets are gonna hit. The Nuggets are gonna win.
I know.
They're gonna roll.
It's little.
We just thought Jamal Murray would have like 18. Just like a regular game,
just normal regular
game,
season. Jamal. Yeah.
I do have to say though, looking at my DraftKings bet slip and seeing all that green, bling 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 bling, I was very depressed, and then I was like, you know what? It's just game one, and what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do with my profits, my winnings?
Yeah,
I'll probably watch them.
You'll probably just bet more.
I'll probably lose it on the Broncos. Like
Harrison Wind sounds like he'll be hopping in here in just a moment. Let's see here. So, what do we expect out of this next game? Like, what do you guys think will be meaningfully different? And I should say that tomorrow's episode of the DNVR Nuggets show, which will probably post like late, it'll be a thing for you to listen to on Christmas. Yeah. Because it'll probably be a little bit late, but it'll be a notebook pod. These ones aren't live, so. Oh, Harrison Wind is calling out. Fantastic. Hold on just one second.
The wind is calling.
One of the reasons you need to subscribe to the DNVR Nuggets podcast, if you're coming to us from YouTube, is that not every show is filmed live from the studio. Some we do at home in our home studios, and those just publish straight to the podcast feed. So tomorrow I'm going to be going in. I'm going to rewatch this game tonight, take a bunch of notes, cut a bunch of clips, and I'll talk about that one tomorrow, and then post the list for DNVR members, the film study. All right. Is there a cool breeze?
Dude,
coming in.
Look at this man.
I can see him. I told him to find a great set, and
look at that.
I guess that wall is pretty great. That is not a bad wall. That's a pretty good wall. Can you hear us, Harrison? We can't hear you.
No, we can't hear him.
What's going on here?
We'll do it live.
The guest has muted themselves.
Classic.
Day one. It's day one. Harrison is having a Jamal Murray-esque performance tonight here, and I like that we get to watch him as he does.
Yeah,
this.
there's no pressure for Harrison here.
No pressure for you, Harrison.
Live troubleshooting on the internet.
Did you get it? Oh no! Oh no, Harrison. Are your settings on your computer?
Well, while he's doing that, Adam, you might as well tell him where Harrison is at.
The Ball Arena.
Ball Arena. And how do you think that was?
How do I think what was the Ball Arena?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm actually curious. That's one of the things I want to know.
I noticed it looks a lot like the Pepsi Center.
It does look a lot like it's crazy how
so.
they made it exactly like that.
Something's going on there.
Well, no Harrison.
Well, no Harrison. I'm sure he'll try again.
Yeah, he'll be like, well, we talked to Michael Malone. He was frustrated with the defensive effort. He said that that is not what they've been practicing all week, and that he expected more out of his top stars.
We talked to Jokic. He thought the game was fine. Didn't really said he wasn't concerned.
I brought up in the presser that they lost the game, and Jokic was not aware.
Who do you think is the person that Malone's gonna go after? Because there's the one person.
You think he goes after somebody in the presser?
Yeah, he always goes after one person to try to basically motivate them or push them a little bit more. There's always one guy.
There's an obvious candidate.
Jamal. I mean, come on. Yeah, he's going to go after him.
I don't think it'll be Jamal. I think it'll be MPJ.
Oh.
If there is.
Whoa,
Man,
spice.
Malone going after MPJ after this game would be
Is this a tweet you're reading? Do you know this already, or are we going to bet on this?
No, I would say it would have to be MPJ because I think that he would try to say something about defense or just how he started out, or just trying to make. I mean, how many mistakes he made in the game early and how he tried to get over.
That would be classic Malone, just to be like.
Yeah.
Everyone says it was MPJ. I feel like you cheated.
Are you there?
I'm here. Can you guys hear me now?
A mighty wind's a blowing.
Pelton Prince. Oh yeah. So Harrison, before we talk about what was said. We can turn it down a little bit, Cale. I think the echo might be a little loud because the TV monitor is pretty loud. But Harrison, so my first question was, what was it like being in a completely empty arena tonight?
It was wild, man. It took me a really long time to adjust just to watching a game live because we've been watching games on TV since March. It was just really weird watching a game live, and then being in an empty arena. I was curious, would I be able to hear Michael Malone yelling at his players, yelling at Michael Porter Jr.? Would I be able to hear kind of the trash talk between teams? I couldn't hear anything. The music was so loud in here that it almost felt like a normal volume level where it would be if fans were here. So it was a weird experience for sure.
Was it weird for the players, do you think? I mean, obviously they're used to the bubble, but did it feel like we've seen some of the stuff on the sideline where they're trying to manufacture energy because there's no crowd? Could you feel that where the players were trying to be extra loud and provide their own energy?
I've got to think they're a little used to it after 3 preseason games where 2 were at home. I've got to think they're a little used to it. There's just so many aspects that are obviously way different now. There's this whole area. I don't know if you guys can see it on TV, but there's this whole area behind the basket where players are warming up when they're on the bench. During timeouts, Isaiah Hartenstein is running the full width of the floor back and forth trying to stay warm. Michael Porter Jr. is trying to stretch out. I don't even know something. He's not on the floor, especially in the first half. The setup is just weird, but I've got to think for the players, 4 games for Denver now in this type of environment with no crowd. I've got to think they're used to it by now.
This battle between you and the mask right now, it's fantastic.
You gotta get the mask so it's not underneath your chin. Your chin is your biggest enemy here.
It's a fascinating battle. I feel like this is the overtime game one of battles.
Your chin is your version of my Adam, your ultimate enemy.
I believe in Harrison. He's going to overcome.
He is going to overcome. He's going to come at clutch. Okay, so strange atmosphere as to be expected. Extremely loud noise, which I saw everybody at the arena tonight saying that it was like obnoxiously loud the way they pumped the music in. What was said though? What was the vibe with the team tonight? And also, how much access do you have to the team? And not loud inside the locker room and those types of things. But how did this presser go?
So I'll give you a little bit of background on just what the kind of experience is like for media. We go in an entrance, we go up to kind of the first concourse, and then go to really our seat. And we have like, I don't know, like a 30-foot area where we can move kind of on the concourse where there are a lot of workstations set up. But yeah, obviously we can't go into the locker room. We're not close enough to players or coaches to really get a feel for what they're thinking during the game. After the game, we're on Zoom, like I would be if I wasn't at the arena. And Michael Malone was short tonight, very short tonight. He said they lost this game in the third quarter when Sacramento put up a 36 spot on Denver. That's when the game was lost. And I thought he had a pretty curious comment about Michael Porter Jr. I don't know if you guys saw any of the tweets I put out, but Porter obviously foul trouble in the first half, 3 fouls, sat on the bench for a lot of the first half. I thought he really came on in the second half, had some big plays, had a steal, had a big block down the stretch. Michael Malone categorized his night as all right. So didn't really heap a ton of praise on Porter. And Porter was, I don't know, in my opinion, Denver's second best player tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So he seemed frustrated with Porter, which is a real drag because definitely, I mean, there was other players tonight I felt like you could have really honed in on with your frustration. What else? Was there anything else from Malone that was noteworthy?
Just like there was so much weird stuff tonight from a lot of the questionable foul calls. Jamal Murray's 6th foul. Nikola Jokic's offensive foul on that screen late in the game. 2 super soft calls, it seemed to me. And then the possession that Sacramento won it on when Denver inbounds it to Jokic. He loses the ball. Michael Malone said he thought there was contact there. And then Sacramento obviously goes on to win. So he had that to say. Denver got out rebound tonight too. Malone pointed to that as kind of something that did Denver in. And then like the mistakes and turnovers, I was just kind of stunned that, I mean, maybe I shouldn't have been stunned because like we were saying this in the lead up to the season that Denver always talks about shooting more threes and it never carries over to the regular season. But somehow they only got up 29 threes tonight in an overtime game. That was pretty wild to me.
Yeah. What did Jokic have to say about the game?
I felt like he had some good perspective, like we would think he did. Wasn't really overreacting. Pretty much said that Denver relaxed in the third quarter. And I feel like I agree with him. They were a little sloppy in the first half, it seemed. They let Sacramento hang around. And then the third quarter, they just kind of relaxed and got even sloppier. And that's where the game was lost.
Yeah. What was your take on Jokic's night tonight? Because we've been raving about him in his performance.
He was incredible. He was incredible. I thought when he fouled Rashawn Holmes out, and then he fouled
Bagley.
Who did he foul out after that? Marvin Bagley out the next play, and then Hassan Whiteside gets on the floor. I thought that was the end of the game right there. But yeah, Jokic was incredible, man. A triple-double in 28 minutes. Sacramento had no answer for him on the block for really most of the night. So yeah, I thought he was great. I don't think Denver wanted to play him 42 minutes on the first game of the year against the Sacramento Kings, but that's just kind of how the game went.
So Malone, it's been several years, I think 7, but we know that Sacramento's a little extra important to him. And it's funny because there have been some gut punch losses to the Kings over the Malone era. And you have to imagine that part of why he was so short tonight is there's just a little extra whenever they play and lose to the Kings. I have to imagine.
Definitely, man. And he was pissed. He was pissed after this game. I'm trying to keep the long view. And like, yes, the Nuggets, this felt like a performance from last season a little bit where they
really
played down
did.
to an opponent. Jamal Murray, inconsistent. You know, it seems like Jokic is carrying them at times. Those are all themes from last season. The bench underperforms, another theme from last season. I think Denver most likely will probably look back at this game 3 months from now and just kind of shrug their shoulders, or hopefully they do. But
Look back at this game.
I think that's going to be a battle with Malone all year. You know, how does he just kind of not take one game too heavily, even if it is against the Kings, even if it is the first game of the year, and just kind of chalk it up and know that, you know, this was probably just one game, or at least we hope.
And then Michael Porter, did you catch his presser today?
Yeah, Porter also spoke, and I thought this was an interesting quote from him because Malone obviously hit him for really foul trouble and then not really rebounding. Porter only had 5 rebounds tonight in 30 minutes. I mean, that's fine for a small forward, but we know Porter's capable of a lot more, and they need him to rebound a lot better than that. Porter said, quote, "I can't let that stop my aggressiveness. I can't get 5 rebounds in 30 minutes." So I think he's encouraged. My read is he's encouraged by his performance tonight, but super frustrated as well.
What happened to
Just
Jamal
by the
Murray
way.
tonight?
Jamal, I mean, it seemed like to me that he was like playing in shoes that were 2 sizes too big for him. Like it seemed like he just didn't have that quickness that he had in the preseason.
Do you think he forgot his shoes?
Yeah, was he actually
I
wearing
mean,
Did he have
I
to
don't
borrow
know.
Jokic's or something?
Bull shoes?
I don't
Joel
know.
Paul's the only one that brought extras today.
But he just didn't have that spark to his game.
Yeah.
He didn't have that first step. It feels like he never got in a rhythm tonight, and that was surprising because I thought he looked really good in the preseason. And I mean, it's tough. Like the Nuggets are going all in on offense this year, or at least that's my read. You know, they want to be like an elite offensive team. Well, they're going to need more from Jamal Murray then. And look, it's just one night.
Yeah.
It's just one night, and I'm sure Jamal will be fine. But weird.
Yeah.
Just weird for him to go 1 of 9 with all this momentum that he had heading into this season.
Well, do you have any other takeaways or any other things that you think is, you want to share about the experience tonight? I know fans are wondering, jealous of you getting to see this like
why
private
did
game.
you
It's almost like a private showing that you
Yeah.
got invited to of the Denver Nuggets.
What the H?
It feels like I'm watching one of those secret scrimmages that they have
Yeah.
in college that they don't let anybody know about, and you kind of
Yeah.
have to like get what the score is from a source. It's weird, man. It's going to take some time getting used to for sure. I do got to say though that like everything went pretty smoothly. There weren't any hiccups like in terms of the game presentation. It pretty much just seemed like a regular game in terms of like the music getting pumped in, what was going on like on the Jumbotron. The Jumbotron is fully operative. It looks like, it would for a normal game. It's just odd, man. The crowd noise isn't as central as I thought it would be. You notice it on free throws, I'd say. You notice it like that's really the only time you really notice it. So it's not as big of a factor as I thought it would be, or it's not as noticeable as I thought it would be.
All righty. Well, Harrison, thanks so much, man. Obviously, great reporting. Everybody want to check out his article tomorrow. It'll be up on the DNVR.com. He'll provide even more context to tonight. Harrison, thanks so much, buddy. That was great stuff.
Harrison, I missed you.
We missed you, buddy.
Hey guys, I
I
miss
just sit
you
next
too.
to Dev. Oh, what's up, Dev?
So, it was great, man. I love that. This getting to see him, inside
I
the
know.
arena. It was like really, really cool.
It feels like our little boy all grows up.
He does feel like he's all grows up, and it is hilarious that his mask just really letting him down.
Well, it turns out it's the mask not designed to give a press conference.
It's true. I've never had the mask fall off my face, but I don't have that great of a jawline.
You're usually not just like talking constantly for 45
That's
minutes.
true. Will Barton.
Did not, because he hasn't gone yet.
Fantastic.
Classic.
Did you have any thoughts that you'd like to interject?
Yeah, I
in,
just
or-
thought,
You thought Wind was good.
I thought Wind was great.
All right, before we get out of here, guys, let's make a prediction for the next game because we're not going to see everybody until Christmas. And by the way, we hope everybody has a very, very, very happy Christmas.
Unless you don't celebrate it, in which case, who cares?
We will see you Christmas evening. We'll wish you an even more emphatic happy Christmas at that
baby.
point, or Merry Christmas.
Maybe it's a
Merry
Christmas
Christmas.
Winners Lounge.
They say Happy Christmas or Merry
Yeah,
Christmas.
Happy Christmas is like
It's Merry Christmas.
Well, the Happy Christmas is like very
Happy holidays.
Dickensian. It's like like Tiny
Dickensian.
Tim would walk in and be
Happy
Happy Christmas to all.
Dev, give me a bold prediction, man, for Christmas game.
My bold prediction is Jamal Murray bounces back with a huge game.
My
we
man.
had a hilarious comment on it, and it was 100% right. It's like when we get burned, but they're right. They're like, your guys' bold predictions, none of them are bold on these, like on our preseason things, and it was like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
And possibly none of them are right either. Right?
I know.
We should have been bold. We were like mild and wrong. So you think he bounces back?
Yeah, I think he bounces back. He'll have a 35-point game.
Oh,
Is that pretty bold?
It's a Christmas.
That's really bold. That's really look at Dev just looking at me. He like,
I'm pretty bold.
35-point game, so I like it. He struggled, against the Kings, but when he go up against, Kawhi and Paul George, that's where he's going to really go off.
My prediction is contingent on something, which is always a great start for a prediction. If Jermichael Green cannot go again, Bol plays on Christmas.
Whoa.
That's a great present, man. That's a fantastic
Unless
present. Better than AirPods, I would go ahead and say.
That is unbelievable. AirPods are great.
Eric, what's your bold take?
My bold take is that what is my bold take? My God, I mean, this is like so we're in such a hilarious headspace. When I say we, I mean all of Nuggets Nation right now. I mean, I just love this overreaction. It is 100% pure comedy. The Nuggets are fine. They're going to be fine. Like they're going to play the Clippers tough. I don't know if they win the game, to be honest. Like the Clippers have a lot more motivation. I mean, they're like definitely on a.
It is so true. Yeah,
they're on a like full revenge tour. Like they have just been slandered.
More to prove than anyone, right?
Yeah, they've been slandered nonstop since, and it's a game where there's no actual pressure. So players like Playoff P can show off his wares and his goods.
He looked good, man.
Yeah, I know, because there's no pressure. It's the first game of the season. Like that. That's a mentally weak player. Like he's entirely talented, but he's weak mentally.
He just dropped one of the Kings.
I know. Wow,
coming up swinging.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
Bubble wasn't that long
this
ago.
game has not gotten Eric down, man. Are you kidding? He's still shooting from the hip.
Listen,
Irrational fan.
Playoff P is a mentally weak player.
All right. We got it.
He's going to play well.
We've heard your slander on Paul George.
Jeez,
like we're
going.
I feel awkward with you just
there's no
attacking
pressure
this man.
next game. He's going to play well.
So, man, my bold take will be that Michael Porter scores 20 again. I think he's going to go for 20 because tonight, it's funny, he was in foul trouble. Didn't think he was particularly sharp, early on. Still wound up with all those points. And like every game, here's my Michael Porter take. And we saw this in January of last season. Every game he plays well, his confidence the next game goes up. And it becomes momentum. He got hurt. He had to sit out all that time, then went back in the rotation, and it took a while to get the confidence back. But every game he plays well, that confidence goes up. He stacks another one on there. It's over. It's over. Confidence. It's gonna. Even Malone can't break his confidence.
Man, my only pushback would just be on the bold aspect, and I'm like, say it as a joke.
Oh, you don't even think that's bold?
Well, I mean, you just watch it tonight, and you go, well, that was easy.
Yeah, it was.
That was a really easy 24.
It is easy, but when you go back and watch the shots that he makes, you're like, man, that's a tough shot. But he just makes it look easy.
Shots.
Yeah, they are his shots.
Dude, there were so many times where he shot, and we were using like last year's metrics to judge him by, and then they just went in. We're like, oh right, yep.
Yeah.
He should shoot it every time. Every time he had the ball, we're like, go up, rise up. Like,
well, this was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you so much. The ones inside, if you're in the Winners Lounge, everybody comes. The casuals, every type of fan comes for that one. The Losers Lounge, man. That's the diehards.
These are the homies.
The homies, man. They're in the chat tonight, and they're,
I mean, they're burning.
There was a little bit of, I was gonna say there was some real great conversation. There's some haters that got in there.
We'll talk in the chat tonight.
The chat is definitely eating itself. But
you guys get this one. You guys get this one. It's opening night. It was tough, but it's a long season. Stick with it. All right.
And win or lose, we always have fun here in the lounge. So thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. We'll see y'all next time.
You guys are the best.
We out. 0-1, baby.
We out here, man.
We out. Damn it, we're in the Losers column.